Welcome back to the Profits of IT. I'm Jim Punzenberger, your host, and also the creator of the ManageProspectingSystem.com, which is authority content, LinkedIn outreach, targeted email, 3 pillars designed specifically for IT service businesses. We do it for you every week. So check out ManageProspectingSystem.com after the show. I'm excited to have Lee Gartstein with me today, Strategic Alliance Partner and Senior Enterprise Account Executive at ePlus, President's Club winner, San Diego based, and prospecting philosophy is one I think every MSP owner needs to hear. Everything works some of the time. Lee, welcome to Profits of IT. Tell us what ePlus actually does, because you told me it's not what most people think a VAR is.
So ePlus is a global VAR and IT integrator. I think what makes us different from categories of VAR that we get, kind of pigeonholed into is that we are more services led and consultative, where we're not looking to just sell hardware and software. For us, we're really looking to be a strategic partner to our customers and help them advance in areas from, AI security, professional services, cloud, data management, storage, anything IT related, staffing, um, where some of our more well-known competitors, right, their goal is really maybe to just kind of sell boxes and sell software, and that's not really what we're looking to do for our customers. I mean, we have that ability to do that, and a lot of times what we end up selling our customers comes after weeks of discussions and design and strategy sessions, and the hardware that we sell is typically the output of what comes out of those conversations.
Nice.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's shift gears here a moment and jump to the what I like to call truth bomb segment of the show. And you said the biggest misconception is that all VARs are the same. And you also said when you start working with a new client, it's usually not because they're unhappy. It's because their current partner has gaps. How do you collaborate alongside somebody's existing provider instead of just trying to replace them?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's and it's probably pretty specific to San Diego, where San Diego is not really an enterprise town. There are some enterprise customers, in the area, but it's really made up of mostly, I'd say, larger commercial sized businesses, and a lot of the C-suite, the C-suite decision makers are kind of taking their cues and their suggestions from a group of local, strategic advisors, as opposed to maybe like a larger consultancy where I've seen where it works best for us is where we can actually come in and work alongside that consultant, right? Stay in our lane and just help their clients address whatever challenges or initiatives that they might have, as opposed to, just kind of coming in and steamrolling them out, or displacing them. I just think here it's such a tight community that you're better off just collaborating and working together as opposed to, just trying to take everything over. I think in time, if you do it right and you stay in your lane, right, we've been able to kind of add value as a real trusted partner, not only to, our customers, um, strategic advisors and partners that they're already leveraging, but to the C-suite to, kind of help, like I said, fill any gaps that their current partners might have. I think we're just so big and we just have so many resources available to customers that we're happy to just be a gap filler and if that's the best place for us to get in there and help, and kind of spread some goodwill, if you will, um, through the area out here, I think it goes a long way.
Sure.
Yeah.
And let's shift gears here again and talk about what I like to call a superpower. And y- when we talked earlier, you mentioned that your prospecting philosophy is everything works some of the time. Cold calling, email, LinkedIn, networking, referrals, you name it. Every channel can create opportunities if you're consistent. So why does consistency matter more than choosing the perfect channel?
Um, Again, I think because it goes back to everything works some of the time, right? I do think the channel is a big part of that, right? We do know that the C-suite, the buyers are really buying more through the channel now than they have historically, right? So whether it's through VARs or TSDs or fractional CTOs or CISOs. But I also think, listen, at the end of the day, activity drives success. So if it's, cold calling, networking, emailing, LinkedIn, I think as long as you're consistently um, putting yourself out there, right? Eventually stuff will come back, right? Even if you look at it from a pure numbers game, right? If you just decide I'm going to make 100 calls every day, I think, you make 100 calls, you might get to talk to 10 people, two people will agree to a meeting. Eventually, one of those people will buy something, right? So if you just stay active, regardless of what your preferred method of prospecting is, eventually things will kind of pull through,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's also chat a minute about what I like to call $1 million learning moment. And you mentioned that your $1 million learning moment is a data dump. Early in your career, you felt like you had to prove your value or prove your value by talking about every feature, every capacity, every this, every that, instead
Yeah,
of
yeah.
asking questions and listening. As somebody who's naturally likes to talk, learning to shut up, I think, is one of your biggest lessons that you mentioned. Tell me about the moment you realized when you were you were wrong by talking so much. How did you overcome that?
Yeah, God, I don't know that there's one moment. If there's probably plenty of moments throughout my career, I think, and a lot of that comes with age and experience, right? As you get older, um, and you start finding yourselves in some of these conversations again, especially with the C-suite, um, to try to just sit in front of them and data dump, all the great things that that you think you can do and help them. I think you kind of learn after a while that it makes more sense to just sit back and listen and really kind of understand what their pain points are and what their challenges are and what the initiatives are and where the business is heading, and take that information, and kind of go back with your team and kind of build a strategy based on everything that you've heard, right? When you're young, you're just so happy to get a meeting and get in front of someone. I think you instinctively just feel like, hey, I need to tell everyone how smart I am and everything that my company can do and all the great things that we can do. And there's probably some truth in that, but it's all a matter of timing, and learning, when to talk and when to, be quiet and listen. So I still struggle with it, right? I uh, I tend to, like to, you know, be the funniest guy in the room and sometimes break the ice a little bit, and I can maybe take that a little bit too far, just maybe out of my own nervous energy. But, I feel, especially in the past couple of years at ePlus, where we're really here to be more consultative and more strategic, that, it makes more sense to just kind of sit back and listen and really try to understand what, the customer's needs are and why they took the meeting in the first place
Hmm.
and, where you might be able to kind of, fit in and help.
Yeah, and you just mentioned ePlus. Tell us more about what's got you excited recently about ePlus, and I've heard you
Yeah.
got a lot going on around AI,
Yeah.
cybersecurity, and data management. Tell us more about that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think everybody is excited about AI. I'm sure there's a lot of, trepidation out there as well. I think our approach to AI, especially for, um, the companies that are just starting to dip their toes into this is really, looking at this from a security and data governance standpoint, right? And really helping the customers kind of understand that this is a security and data governance and compliance discussion before it becomes an AI discussion, right? Let's make sure that you have everything um, in place, locked down, secured. The right people have the right access. The wrong people don't have the right access, so to speak. And when I hear, our team speak to customers about helping them through their AI journey, um, the feedback and the responses that we get from the customers is that we really are bringing a different approach than I think what some of our other competitors might be doing. And that's what's the exciting part is, right? Is I think we're helping customers um, open their eyes to not just the benefits, but the potential risks and how we can help them mitigate those risks so that they start on the right foot when they're about to kind of unleash this beast because, once you let the genie out of the bottle, there's really going to be no going back. So
Right.
I feel like our, crawl, walk, run um, model um, has really been taken, has really been received very well from a lot of our clients. That's the exciting part, right? When you can see that you're helping customers and they're really buying in and they understand um, where they need to start, right? When they didn't really know at the beginning, when you start seeing the light bulbs come on, I think that's what makes what's the exciting part of um, what we're doing around AI.
Cool. So if you pique somebody's interest and would like to get in touch with you, what would be a great way of doing that?
Yeah, LinkedIn is always a great place. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. Email works. So either one of those are definitely, great ways to get a hold of me.
And what is the email address?
So it's lee.gartstein at eplus.com.
Great. Well, we'll include a link to your LinkedIn and the email address in the show notes. So if you're listening, check the show notes for Lee's contact information. Any final thoughts before we wrap up here?
Um, yeah, if you're an organization out there that's kind of struggling with where to start, especially around this AI journey, we have no shortage of really bright people that would love to talk to you and help, give some suggestions and some guidance on where to start. And if you're even further down the path and you need some more assistance as far as actually helping to build the infrastructure around what you're doing with AI. Again, no shortage of resources here. So,
Great.
um, yeah, feel free to reach out, either email, LinkedIn. Happy to arrange a meeting.
Well, Lee, thank you for sharing. And I think you said it best. Everything
Yeah,
works some of the time, whether that be cold calling, email, LinkedIn, content, referrals. And this
yeah.
is exactly why I built managedprospectingsystem.com. We run all three pillars for you every week. So now would be a good time to check out managedprospectingsystem.com. Until next time, I'm Jim Punzenberger. Stay hydrated and caffeinated. Bye for now.
Thanks, Jim. Bye.